Hi friends, and happy full moon in Libra. This full moon is happening on April 16th at 2:55 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's happening at 26 degrees of Libra, the moon in Libra, and the sun at 26 degrees of Aries. Now, a lot has happened since I did my last moon video, which I believe was the new moon in Aries, which is 2 weeks ago. So in between that time, we had a once in a lifetime conjunction. We had Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces conjunction on April 12th, so it was just a few days ago. And then we had Venus entering Pisces, and today, which I'm filming this on April 15th, we have Mars entering Pisces. So we have Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune all in the sign of Pisces. And why is that important? Because the ruler of this moon is in Libra, and the ruler of Libra is Pisces. So we always want to look at what the ruler of the moon is doing. And and Venus right now is in her exaltation in the sign of Pisces. And exaltation in astrology just means that while Venus is not in her home signs of Libra and Taurus, she's in one of her favorite places, which is Pisces. So your Pisces house, wherever house that is, and hopefully as I go through the rising signs, I'll help identify that for you. It's getting this boost of energy. It's getting this boost of the masculine and feminine archetypes, the Mars and Venus. And then we have that beautiful conjunction in your Piscean house. So it's very supportive. I always talk about, when I speak about astrology and energy, there's always a light and dark to everything. And my job as a teacher and a guide is to always help you to understand the dark, the shadow aspects of everything, and seeing what's beneath the surface, but always trying to bring it back to the light and to really try to hone in on the highest timeline of each expression. So we're still in Aries season, and we're going to be moving into Taurus season, which is ruled by Venus in a couple of days on April 19th. I'm located in New York, so I always go by Eastern Standard Time. So just adjust for your time zone. And this is significant too, because we are moving towards eclipse season, and our first eclipse is the solar eclipse in Taurus, which is April 30th. So that will be our next lunation. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, and the North Node is ruled by Venus. So Venus, there's a story going on with Venus. And if you've been watching my videos since last year, I have been saying that 2022 is all about balancing our feminine and our masculine energies. We began this year with a Venus retrograde in Capricorn. That was pretty rough. And then we're going to end the year with Mars retrograde in Gemini. And that's going to be, I think it's going to be for 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. So we began the year with a Venus retrograde. We end the year with a Mars retrograde. And Mars and Venus were going through that dance together in Capricorn and then Aquarius, and then Venus finally escaped into Pisces, her exaltation, and then she's cruising along, Mars is cruising along. So just to give you a little bit of a flavor of what's going on in the background of this lunation of this full moon. This full moon, the moon is going to be square to Pluto in Capricorn. And squares are 90-degree angles. They're tense, but they're creative. Something has to come out of it. I have a lot of squares in my chart, which always used to freak me out when I first started studying astrology, but it really is the energy that's necessary in order for you to take action, in order for you to do something else, to create change. If you can use that energy to create the change that you want, That's where you want to be versus having the universe kind of take over. And I really do believe that's what eclipse seasons offer us, is like that saying, I think it's was it a Carrie Underwood song that says Jesus take the wheel. It's like when a higher power, spirit, karma, whatever you believe in, kind of takes over and course corrects and brings you back into alignment, because eclipses bring about lots of change. So this is the last full moon before the solar eclipse, which is a new moon in Taurus. And so I really believe this full moon is helping you to clear away and to release something that will have something to do with relationships and bringing things back into harmony and balance. Libra is ruled by the Justice card in tarot. It's the scales. It's all about bringing back into harmony, bringing back into balance. But in order for you to do that, you have to make decisions. Libra is a cardinal air sign. So it's all about having discernment for the kinds of relationships that give you energy and the kinds of relationships that don't give you energy, kind of suck the energy out of you. And also look at what your own role is within the relationship. Are you people pleasing? Are you giving away your power? You know, I'm an Aries sun. I don't know if I ever told, I'm pretty sure I said that in many videos. I'm an Aries sun, and the sun is exalted in the sign of Aries. And I have that very, very prominent luminary in my chart, but the opposite house, which is my Libra house, I have a stellium, and a stellium means 3 or more planets in the same house or the same sign. I have a stellium of planets in Libra opposing my sun. And I always think of my Libra stellium opposing my sun as like checks and balances. If my sun was not checked in any way, I would just go about my life like forging forward, doing whatever the fuck I wanted, staking my claim, because you know, Aries is very primal energy. It goes after what it wants. And sometimes it's frustrating because sometimes I want to do the thing and sometimes I want to act quickly, but then my Libra house is like, wait a minute, we got to take other things into consideration. And it's very much for me this checks and balances energy. So throughout Aries season, you might have been like, okay, I got the plan, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get after my dreams. And now this full moon is a sobering moment where you're asking yourself, okay, who are the people around me? Because we don't live on islands. We need to have relationships around us to support us. And also with the Pluto square, what am I needing to transform in these relationships? How do I personally need to transform in order to be a better partner, in order to be a better person in my relationships, right? Because partnerships is a co-creative, co-collaborative process. It's not just the other person, it's you too. So these are some questions you can ask yourself during this full moon. And like I said, full moons bring up to the surface what has been laying dormant and what we don't necessarily see on a day-to-day basis. And I honestly, like, even though squares and full moons with Pluto specifically can be difficult and challenging, I always welcome these challenges because I always believe that I really do believe that these are moments when they just make us better and more aligned into who we truly are. When you can look deep beneath the surface, Pluto, you get to see like the truth of who you are. And I only say this because I have so many squares, and right now Pluto in Capricorn is squaring my natal Pluto. The transiting Neptune is squaring my natal Neptune, which I have a Neptune Sun square natally in my chart. I just have a lot of squares going on right now. And also Saturn in Aquarius is at the bends of the North and South Node, and I have that natally in my chart too. So it can feel like a lot of pressure, and it can feel like you want to move forward, but it doesn't seem like there's like, you feel like you're stuck. You feel like you're in this like rock and a hard place kind of situation. And I do have to say, these full moons and these moments during eclipse season really help you to see the gunk underneath the surface to help you move through. So just speaking from personal experience, who has these aspects in my natal chart, I just have to say that these are when the luminaries, and this is when eclipse season is helpful, because you can see more clearly what needs to be moved away. So I gave you a little hint and a glimpse into April 30th, which is our partial solar eclipse in Taurus, the new moon in Taurus, and that is like a 6-month opening for this new beginning in your Taurus house. So as I'm going through the rising signs, I will try to pinpoint out the houses and what's being activated here. Just as a reminder, I use the whole house system, tropical Western astrology, and I've actually been studying Hellenistic astrology and the roots of the modern and Western astrology that I've been learning. And for me personally, I went from Placidus to whole house, and I just find that with timing techniques and transits, it's more accurate when you use the whole house system. And also, there was something else I wanted to say about that, but if you don't use that and you use Placidus, just see where the two signs intersect in which houses, and just make it work for you, because, you know, use whatever house system you feel called to use and that aligns with you and that you work with. But I did go from Placidus, which I was so like, Placidus is everything, and then I started studying classical, traditional Hellenistic astrology, and with timing and techniques, I needed to convert to the whole house system, and now that's the one that I use. And yeah, I guess happy full moon, everyone, and the timestamps are always linked in the description box, and I will see you at your rising sign. Bye! Hi, Aries rising. This full moon is happening in your 7th house. The 7th house is opposing your ascendant. So this is an angular house, and the angular houses are the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 11th, and then 10th. And so these are major points in a chart. The 7th house is the other. It's the part of you that is reflected back to you. It's one-on-one partnerships, both romantic, business, and close friendships. It's a very intimate house. So this for you, and it's squaring your 10th house of career, and Pluto's been there. You're having Pisces in your 12th house. So right off the bat, just seeing this, you're definitely going through some kind of partnership, career tension right now. Either your partner is not supportive of your career, or your business partner is attached to your career. That is the question. And Venus also rules your 2nd house of money. So there's some big decisions that need to be made. Is this a partnership you want to continue? Is this a partnership that you need to transform? You need to have an honest conversation with somebody. Maybe this is a romantic partnership. If your romantic partner does not support your career, or your desire for career, or your desire to quit your career for something else, maybe a more spiritual way of being, since Pisces is your 12th house. Something is going on in your partnership sector. So, and it's not easy, because again, like I said, Pluto has been in your 10th for a hot minute, for almost 15 years. And you know, Full moons in the angular houses make you see it. You see it very clearly from your ascendant. So let's ask for advice. How can Aries risings move through this full moon in Libra? So I am using the Tarot of the Divine. I used this in the last moon video. It was a gift from one of my Moon Circle members, and if you feel called to join us, it's a Patreon. We meet twice a month on the new and full moon. Okay, what is the advice for Aries rising with the full moon in the partnership house? And this is like the sun is in your first house still. And so whenever the sun transits our first house, we see an aspect of ourselves. We feel like we're shining in the beams of the season. And so many of you might have been prioritizing yourself more than your partner, and maybe your partner has a problem with that. Again, this doesn't have to be just romantic. It can be friendships. It could be business partners, but really the Libra Aries axis is, who am I within the we? Are you people pleasing? Are you, that's more like a Libra rising, I would say, versus an Aries rising. I feel like Aries risings are always like very primal, very instinctual, goes after what you want. So maybe this is a call to be more mindful of your relationships and how you show up to your relationships. What is your advice for Aries rising for this Libra full moon? So you're having the North Node in your second house. So this is definitely affecting your finances in some way. Wow. Oh. Okay. I'm going to show you the card in just a second. Okay. Wow. So like I was feeling, this is a major life thing that you are going through right now. The first card that came out is the World. It's number 21. It's the last card in the journey. Something is ending. Something must end. Something must end in order for you to start something fresh. So as I was saying in the beginning, this is the last full moon before the solar eclipse in Taurus, which is your financial sector, your money sector, your second house in Taurus. And so something is being renewed, a new beginning is happening there. So in order for you to make room, you need to let go of something, you need to finish a chapter. Now, I don't want to freak anybody out if you are in a long-term relationship, if you are in a marriage, and it's just not going the way you want it to go. My sympathies are with you. I've been through many breakups in my life, some that I'm still recovering from, but that's my own journey. Maybe this is the sign that you need to allow you to understand that everything is going to be okay. What I know about energy and how our universe works is nothing. Energy is not created nor destroyed. That is Newton's first law, thermodynamics. When you let go of something, something else takes its place. What people fear the most is letting go, even if they know it does not serve them, because they are afraid of the unknown and empty spaces. But you have Temperance, and these are two major arcana cards. This is fixed sign energy. This is Saturn, and Saturn rules your 10th house of career, Capricorn, and your 11th house of Aquarius. And so in order for you to have this, like the world is your oyster, your career, the 10th and 11th are very public houses. And something tells me you want to be more public, you want to get out there, you're in an Aries rising, the world is your oyster. You must let go. You must trust and have faith in what is meant for you and what's coming through. Temperance is Sagittarius. It's ruled by Jupiter. And this is all about tempering your energy, patience. It's all about trusting and having faith in what this world has to offer you. And these are like, this is number 14. And this is number 21. So those numbers might be important to you. So the advice here really for you, Aries rising, is to trust and to have faith and let go what needs to be let go of. Capricorn in your 10th, you know, it's in its, excuse me, see, I'm burping and it's like you need to let go of something. You need to purge something. Pluto in Capricorn has been transiting your 10th house for 15 years now. And it's in its last degrees, and now Pluto wants to replenish and rebirth what has been taken away. So for those of you, maybe, I don't know, one scenario might be that maybe you have been married for 15 years and you gave it all you've got, but now it's time to focus on yourself. And so you're afraid of letting this relationship go. And I am not saying to anybody, get divorced, get separated. But just remember yourself within the we. Remember yourself and what you want out of your life within the we. And have a partner and have somebody who honors your wishes. Oh my God, 2 of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. Just as I was feeling, this is like, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Long-term relationships. I mean, I was feeling this, but I was like, it could be business, and it could still be business, you know. And I actually love this story of this mythology. Maybe you can Google it and look it up. I just actually learned about this mythology. And I'm not going to do it justice, but this is the mythology between Enkidu and Gilgamesh. It's a Sumerian mythology. It's really beautiful. I'll just read what it says in the book. The 2 of Cups is an ideal relationship that still faces difficulties. Gilgamesh was a tyrant until Enkidu was created for him to be his equal in every way. Though their initial meetings were rocky, they came to love each other very much as opposites who complete each other. And I mean, Libra is your opposite sign. And so also, this is really what Libra is all about. It's like finding your divine counterpart, having harmony and balance, even with the difficulties. So, wow, Aries rising. I mean, this is still your season. And so I feel like that message was really, really on point and meant for you. But I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Libra. And please let me know if this resonated with you. And I send you so much love. Take care of yourself. Bye. Hi, Taurus risings. This full moon is happening in your 6th house. Okay, so in Hellenistic astrology, traditional astrology, the 6th house is a pretty tough one because it's a house from your ascendant that you cannot see. That's why they regarded it as a house of bad fortune, but reprogramming it in our modern lives, it just means that you can't see it from your ascendant. So that's why it also talks about your daily habits and your health routines to mitigate some of the bad things that could happen in your 6th house. So this is all about your daily rituals, your health habits, even your work and your pets that help you sustain your life. You have Uranus in your 1st house, the North Node in your 1st house, and the solar eclipse is happening in your 1st house. So you're probably like, what the fuck is going to happen to me in the next 18 months or however long the North Node is going to be in your 1st house? But I will say that a lot of Taurus risings that I have been meeting, because now obviously the energy is all about Venus and it's going to be Taurus season soon. And, you know, when you have major Taurus placements, you just become magnetic. I think that the North Node being in your sign is, to me, just all the more why you should be even harnessing more your Taurus energy. Does that make sense? Neptune, the transit Neptune is squaring my Neptune, so I have not been clear on my communication recently, so I'm trying to get this out. But basically what I'm trying to say is the more Taurus you can do and integrating your Scorpio, which is your 7th house, letting go. But you know, Taurus is like, okay, you're not known for change. You're fixed earth, but you are really good at taking it slowly, and changing at a slow pace is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And ever since the North Node moved into Taurus, I've been so into herbs and cooking and taking naps. And I mean, look at all these flowers that are around me. Like, this is like, just like, I've never been this girly before, you know? So like, I just love this energy. I love your energy. It's something that I'm trying to cultivate because I have Chiron in Taurus, and the North Node is in my 6th house, so I don't really know this energy that well. But anyway, enough about me. Libra in the 6th house. So you're letting go of a bad habit. Maybe you're starting a new ritual, a new health regimen. Capricorn is your 9th house. So Pluto has been there for like about 15 years trying to transform something that you've been trying to master, something that you've been trying to, maybe some of you want to write a book, you know, Pluto there in the 9th house, or traveling, or studying something like your master's or going to grad school. But the 6th house, Libra full moon being there, I think you are being asked to let go of something that's not serving your daily habits and your health routines. And the 1st house is really about our body, and the sign that I associate the most with the body is Taurus. So my advice for you, especially with these eclipses happening in your 1st and 7th house, is to take care of your body, is to nourish yourself, is to take it slow. One thing that I did not do very well when I had the South Node transiting my 1st house. So I had the South Node transiting my 1st house for 18 months. And I also had Saturn on my moon. I did not take care of myself that well. I did not nourish myself that well. So I lost like a ton of weight because that's what happens. And I was pretty depressed. I was feeling just like meh. So my advice for you, and whoever has, I'm also going to relay this message to Scorpio risings, but my advice for you is to just take care of your body. Basically, come up with rituals that serve you and help ground you. Neptune is going to be there for a hot minute, so I better get used to this energy. Okay, what is your advice for Taurus risings? Ooh, this is your card, the Hierophant. Number 5. 5 is the number of change. I know, Taurus, you're like, I don't want to change, but you might want to, versus a tower moment, versus spirit or the universe like forcing you off the ledge, you know? I just want to get one more card. Okay, I've only done 2 rising signs, but which was Aries before you, and Aries also got a major arcana. So I feel like this is a huge change for everyone. I like change. I'm a cardinal sun sign. I am a fixed moon. Oh my gosh, my heart is beating. The second card you got is the Empress, which is Venus, which you are ruled by Venus. This is so lovely, by the way. Okay, so 3 is the number of creativity, it's fertility, it's being able to create your reality. In some ways, this is also your card because it's ruled by Venus. And then we have the Hierophant, which is the number 5. And 5 is a disruptor. 5 is about change. The Hierophant is your card. It's Taurus. And the Hierophant it's like the priest energy. It is the counterpart to the high priestess. And it's the masculine, I guess, masculine, however you want to, it doesn't have to be gender, but it's the masculine expression of the high priestess. It's a teacher. The Hierophant is somebody who, yeah, in like the traditional tarot, it's a priest, somebody who is the medium, the in-between between the people, the 3D, and the divine source, the channeler, if you will. I don't know, this makes me feel all kinds of Taurus energy. I think the more you get into your body, I think the more that you feel grounded, I think the more that you feel safe, the more that you don't allow outside environmental distractions, especially with the eclipse season, like make you off kilter, make you feel like, like crazy, the more you will be able to hone in on what you're meant to be creating, this new evolution of yourself. Eclipses and any kind of angular situations, because the 1st and 7th house eclipses are huge life changes. And I feel like you're going into the season of creating whatever it is that you wanted, because it was always within you, but you needed a nudge to change something. Maybe some of you, people always think Taurus is just about Earth, but Tauruses are one of the most spiritual people that I know, because in order for us to connect to divinity, we have to be grounded in our bodies, which is why I also associate Taurus with the body. When you could get grounded and connect to your lower chakras, and you can be still, that is actually when we have access to divinity, when we can hear, source moving through us. And maybe this means being more outside in nature, if you have access to that, because something wants to be birthed through you. Now, some Tauruses, you might either get pregnant, you might be wanting to have babies, or you might be creating something like a project, or something wants to be birthed through you. And I can't believe you also got major arcana, because as I was saying, Aries also got major arcana. So this is exciting. And look at all the flowers, as I was saying. Maybe some of you are into like flower essences or herbs or plants. Maybe you're getting into plant. I know a lot of Tauruses or people with a lot of Taurus placements are herbalists. So yeah, I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Libra, and I will see you at the eclipse. Bye. Hi, Gemini rising. This full moon in Libra is happening in your 5th house of children, creativity, passion, romance, sex, all the fun things that life has to offer, basically. And then you've been having Pluto transiting your 8th house for a minute. It's been there for like 14, 15 years. So there's a tense aspect between your 5th house and your 8th house. Your 8th house talks about intimacy, death, the occult, taxes. Today is tax season. Today is tax day in the United States. So I find that interesting. So something needs to be released, right? Something needs to be let go of in order for you to be more creative, in order for you to call in this romance, in order for you to make space and room for this area of your life. Now, your Pisces house is your 10th house of career. And so a lot of Gemini risings are having this, like, if not like for certain, which direction that you're moving towards. You're looking towards your legacy and what you want to do for your life. Now, the career is different than your job. The career talks about, like, it's the highest point. It's what we're known for. And your work and your job is more 6th house stuff. So this is not something that, like, at least not for me, not my experience. It wasn't something that came to mind when I was even young or when I was in my 20s or 30s. It only came recently as I turned 40, because Pisces, I mean, the 10th house is like, you realize this through time and through your, you know, because it takes, your 1st to 10th is like a long journey, you know? So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of you might be calling in a creative project. Maybe your creative project is having children. Maybe you're calling in a romantic interest. Whatever it is, it's something that you feel like, oh, like I just want to have more, just want to have more fun. I just want to be more playful. I just want to be more joyful. And that's a good thing, especially since you've gone through such a huge life pivot in the last 18 months with the North Node going through your 1st house. And now the North Node is in your 12th house and your 6th house axes, which is really all about spirituality and being of service, your daily habits. So let's see what the advice is for you. Gemini risings, that came out quick. Emperor. Every group, mind you, have only done 3 rising signs, have only had major arcana come out. So this Libra full moon is like, we are clearing out. So you have the Emperor, and the Emperor represents Aries energy, and Aries is your 11th house. Okay, so your sun is in your 11th house of groups of friends. Oh, interesting. Okay. Wow. As I thought. As I thought. You have the Emperor and the 9 of Cups. You are wishing for something that is more stable, that is more grounded, that is more real, that is more empowered, that is more foundational. The 9 of Cups is wish. It's a wish that you deeply desire. It's a Pisces card. It's something that you wish for and you dream about and you think about. And the Emperor, like I said, is ruled by Aries. 4 is the number of gathering resources, of building a foundation. It's solid. Now, the Emperor is not necessarily a person, but a feeling that you want to have. This feeling that the wish that you want is something that makes you feel grounded and safe inside. It's a divine masculine energy, and don't look at the gender of this. It's whatever you're desiring. And if we were to look at your 5th and 11th house axes, it's really all about one, in the one hand, when I first saw this come out and I looked at your 11th house, what popped into my head was, I want to be known in my community for something. I want to be known in the collective, in my groups of friends, and I want to stand out for something. And then this is, you know, I wish for this. I wish to create something. I wish to create something that's fun and joyful and playful. And so maybe you are actually embodying more of the Emperor energy to call this in, the 9 of Cups. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the 6 of Swords. Now, the 6 of Swords is Mercury in Aquarius. It's moving from one state of being to another, and they're moving through water. Water is our emotions. But Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius, is our thought processes, our mind, our perceptions. And every 6 of Swords that I've ever seen has somebody else rowing the boat. And this is a Greek mythology of Danae and Perseus, her son, and she's rowing the boat to like safer lands after they escaped. So be open, because again, this is your 5th and 11th house. The 5th house is, like I said, children. And so this is her child Perseus. So children topics might be of, if you have children, maybe your child is, maybe you're helping your child or your child is helping you. And then the 11th house is all about groups of friends. So maybe if you communicate what it is that you want and what you're calling in, like your wish, your 9 of Cups, that your friend can actually help you have a leg up. But the key here, I mean, you're a Gemini rising, you're ruled by Mercury. So you don't have a problem with communicating. So anyway, that's super amazing. All the readings have been so uplifting and life-changing. So I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Libra. Bye. Hi, Cancer rising. This full moon is happening in your 4th house. The 4th house, just to refresh your memory if you don't know, speaks to our roots, our family, our ancestry. It is the lowest point of our chart. So it is where we feel nurtured, intimate. It's private. We don't necessarily show everybody this aspect of our lives. It also speaks to real estate and home. It is like our deep psychological foundation because it's at the bottom of our chart. Like I said, it's where we turn in at nighttime and where we live our private lives. So having Libra there, you might be letting go of an old home, trying to move somewhere. Maybe you're trying to learn about your ancestry, or you're trying to transform your relationship to your family, your parents. Any of those topics I mentioned about the 4th house can be coming up at this time. And Capricorn is your 7th house of partnership. So, as I said to Aries rising, all the cardinal signs are having their full moon in an angular house. The angular houses are 1, 4, 7, and 10. And those are significant areas of our life. So usually when one aspect of an angular house is activated, the rest of our chart also gets activated. This could also be like a breakthrough in, like, maybe you want to work from home and you have to let go of something. Maybe you have to ask for help, hire a nanny, because Libra is opposing your 10th house in Aries, your independent quest for a career. So maybe some Cancer risings are like, you know what? I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to work for myself. And you need that support at home with Libra in your 4th house. Other things to note is that you're getting support in Pisces, which is the 9th house. Your quest for mastership, your quest for higher learning. And higher learning, I mean, like something that is super niche and super concentrated, like a master's degree, like a PhD. You could also be traveling at this time, but that house is very supportive for you. So, you know, having Pisces rule your 9th house, some of you might be interested in spirituality, learning more about astrology, the occult, philosophy, something to help support you in your career, possibly. Let's see. All right, so let's ask for advice for Cancer risings. Oof, and then you've been having Pluto there for like 14 years opposing your ascendant. Yikes, my mom is a Cancer rising. It's not easy having such a crazy planet opposing your ascendant, I'm sure. What is your advice for Cancer rising? Yeah, so partnerships and home. Partnerships, one-on-one partnerships. So Spirit said yes. One-on-one partnerships of every kind, could be platonic as well. And topics of the home are in focus at this full moon in Libra. It will be different for everybody based on your personal planets and where things are and aspected. But that's the overall theme for Cancer risings. All right. And it's still Aries season, so how this is all playing out within your own career. What is your advice for Cancer rising? What is your advice for Cancer risings? Your group is taking a little minute to have all the cards come out. There we go. Whew. I'm telling you, I've filmed 4 groups. You're the 4th, and each group has had major arcana come out. As I was saying, this is a major full moon before eclipse season. Things are shifting, things are changing, things are moving, and you are no exception, because you got the Wheel of Fortune and the High Priestess, and I have chills like going up my back. Oh my God. Whatever it is, whatever you decide, you have to trust. The Wheel of Fortune is a card ruled by Jupiter. Something is, the karmic wheel is turning, and whether this is like you're at the top of the wheel or at the bottom of the wheel, and I don't mean to say this in a fearful way, but I always think like when I'm at the like the crest of life, when I'm enjoying life and everything's going great, I appreciate that time in my life, because I know that with the cycles of nature that the wheel is going to go down and things have to balance out. And that's why I have to live in the moment and appreciate what's happening in the present moment. And then when you're at the bottom of the wheel, you know that it's not forever, it's temporary, and then the wheel is going to go back up. And I think this is a major message for you. You know, Capricorn, and all that shit that happened in the Capricorn houses the last couple of years have not been easy. And I think a lot of Cancer risings are kind of recuperating from what has been lost or perceived to be lost. And I think this is Spirit saying, like, don't worry, like Pluto in the last degrees of Capricorn is going to like phoenixing, like reward you for all of the hard work that you've been doing. Just having to believe. Again, Jupiter right now is in Pisces in your 9th house. So if any of you are more interested in like meditation or learning about philosophy or learning about different religions, like this is your time. Time is a big thing for you, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is ruled by time, and it's in your 8th house right now. So you've had this onslaught of Saturn opposing you, now Pluto opposing you. And I don't want you to give up, because ultimately I think what it gave you was this ability to listen to your intuition, the ability to see and intuit what you can't see. Does that make sense? This is ruled by the moon, the High Priestess, and it's the ability to know on a deep cellular level that everything's going to work out for you. And so, you know, with this full moon happening in your 4th house, that's like a foundational house, something needing to be like released, completed, a chapter ending, that could, you know, it's easier said than done, but that could be really tough. That could be really hard. So I think this is, again, this is a 10 and a 2. These are very receptive feminine numbers. Something is being completed and a new chapter is beginning. You're having your North Node in the 11th house, which is the highest point of your chart. Something is being renewed in your wishes and your, because the 11th house speaks about desires and long-term goals, don't give up on them. Because, and I keep repeating this quote, not quote, Newton's first law of thermodynamics: energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So whatever Pluto and Saturn took away is going to be replaced, replenished, if you believe, if you've taken the wisdom out of each lesson and not allowing your fears to be projected into the present moment. I feel like this message was also for me. So thank you, Cancer rising, and I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Libra. Bye. Hi, Leo risings. This full moon is happening in your third house. The third house speaks to our community, our neighborhood, siblings, media. And what I've learned about the third house recently, since I have 2 personal planets in my third house, is it's our neighborhood and the people that we interact with on a pretty regular basis, and things that we do on a daily basis that we have interactions with. So it could also be websites that you visit, magazines that you read, newspapers that you read, people that you see and interact with on a daily basis, on a regular basis, like your siblings. It's a very busy house. So I would say that there's a lot of energy expenditure in this house. So if there was one advice for you during this full moon in Libra, is to slow down and understand what your body is trying to tell you. And that might be hard for Leo rising, because you were ruled by the sun and you just want to like shine and you want to like do your thing. And you know, you're also having you're having a 9th house activation with Aries right now. Your quest for knowledge, your quest for mastership. You might be traveling. You have a stellium and Pisces in your 8th house. Quest for intimacy and the occult. You have Saturn still transiting your 7th house of one-on-one partnerships. So, you know, there's a lot going on, and you are also a fixed, you're a fixed rising sign. So you have eclipses going on in your 4th and 10th house. That's not easy. So I think the more you can try to slow down and embody more of the Taurus, slowing down, being embodied, will help you move through these times. Now, a full moon is about releasing, and it's in a square aspect to your 6th house in Capricorn. Pluto has been transiting that house now for 14, 15 years. So something that you do on a day-to-day basis is affecting your mind, how you think, how you communicate. And this is why I also recommend that you slow down a little bit so that you can have discernment over what it is that you need to do on a day-to-day basis to support your 3rd house and your 6th house. So the 6th house is like daily habits, rituals, work. And you have it in Capricorn, which is a pretty grounded sign. So let's see the advice for Leo risings. And you want to look at your ascendant degree, because depending on, I think the eclipse is at 9 degrees or 10 degrees of Taurus. It's squaring your ascendant. Taurus in your 10th house is a squaring your ascendant. So if you have your ascendant degree between like, I would say like 5 degrees and 15 degrees of Leo, then you're definitely going to be affected by this eclipse. And this is just helping you prepare for that. What is your advice for Leo rising? The 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups. I think it was a couple of, was it the new moon in Aquarius where I was like, some of you Leo risings are not being honest with the fact that you do want a long-term relationship, having Saturn in your 7th house. But we're talking about the 3rd house now. Now, You might be able to meet your person because the 7th and the 3rd are in a trine aspect, and trines are very okay, I don't want to use the word powerful because powerful could mean negative and positive, but you might be able to meet your wish, if that's what you're calling in, through social media, through community, through friends. Saturn is the ruler of your 7th house. So you want to look at what Saturn's doing. Your personal natal Saturn. Where it is, what it's doing, what it's speaking to. Okay. And then we have here the Queen of Wands. Okay, this could be you. This is a fire sign, a visionary, an entrepreneur, somebody who gets after his, her, their shit, takes no prisoners, gets after what they want, confidence shining brightly. Okay, this is getting after what you want. No holds bar, no, like, you know, main character energy. And that's what I feel about Leo risings in general. I'm always like, wow, so confident. You know, when you are in the heart space, when you are in the highest expression of Leo. Some of you might even want to be more active on social media, or you might want to write a column, or you might want to be a writer because the 3rd house is a writer. Some of you want to be known in your community, in your circles. And I think this is the time to do it. The only advice I would have for this is to let go of those habits that no longer serve you, that keep you weighed down, you know, as Pluto is trying to transform your daily rituals and your daily habits. Even having some kind of health routine, like exercising or moving your body. Oh, my nose itches. Leo is ruled by the sun. So look at what your sun is doing. Look at what your moon is doing. Look at how you can move your body and how you can move this fire energy within you and gain the confidence that you can get after your dreams. The 9 of Cups is a Piscean card. It's like something that you deeply desire. And it's on the horizon for you. And I've been feeling this energy for a while now for you with Saturn in your 7th house. And yeah, I mean, the quest for a divine partner is always one where I really do try to trust in the divine. I don't necessarily try to manifest somebody specifically. I leave it up to the highest alignment and the highest timeline. The 3rd house is also the house of the goddess. The moon has its joy in the 3rd house, so maybe if you feel called, you could join our moon circles. And yeah, moon rituals are going to be very helpful for you too, especially with the eclipses this year, because the eclipses are squaring your 1st and 7th house. So hopefully that was helpful, Leo risings, and I will see you at the eclipse. Bye. Hi Virgo risings. This Libra full moon is happening in your 2nd house of money. Yes, it's happening. And it's squaring to your 5th house of Capricorn. Okay, something is being blocked in your creativity. Pluto has been trying to transform this area of your life for the last 14 years. What kind of power dynamics are you working with here? You know, Libra and Aries is as much about power dynamics as is with any other sign, because Aries, which is in your 8th house, and Libra in your 2nd house is all about the power dynamics within the me between the we and the you between the me, and relationships and how we relate to each other, and also how we relate to money and who has the money, who has the resources. So Virgo risings, at this full moon, you might be thinking of like, how can I make more money? What is holding me back? Who is holding me back? What do I need to do to make more money? And I really think that looking at your 5th house, where Pluto is in Capricorn, will give you clues as to how you can transform that. Maybe you need to like get more creative. Maybe you need to think outside the box. Somebody said to me, people who say they're bored or people who are not inspired are boring and uninspired themselves. So, which I was like, wow. And you have this stellium of Pisces in your 7th house. So a lot of stuff about partnerships, a lot of topics around the other. And that's all shining. It's all reflecting something onto you. And so you're at this time, you're realizing something about yourself that you're like, wow, am I limiting myself? Am I people pleasing? Am I like not giving myself enough credit for what it is that I need to do and to be of service for others? Because Virgo is a sign of being of service to others. You are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury right now, excuse me, is in Taurus in the 9th house. So you might be needing to communicate a little bit more about who you are, what you're doing, the magic that is you, and just put yourself out there a little bit more. I mean, the one danger between Virgo and having Pisces in the 7th house is you dissolve into the other person. You dissolve your identity and you almost like get lost in the other. So try to harness your Virgo ascendant as much as you can to remember who you are. You know, in The Lion King, when Mufasa is like, remember who you are, to Simba, that's what came into my head. What do you need Virgo risings to know? What do you need Virgo risings to know? And I don't know why I'm whispering now. What do you need Virgo risings to know? Oh, apparently a lot, but that's too much. What do you need Virgo risings to know? I keep hearing share your voice. What else? Oh. What else? What do you need Virgo risings to know? Virgo risings, you are creating a legacy. You are not fucking around anymore. You're like, fuck this. I'm creating the generational wealth that I was not given from my ancestors, because the 10 of Coins is my ancestors card. And I love this card and their depiction of the 10 of Coins because it looks like this elder is rubbing the back of this dog and all these people around. The 10 of Coins always reminds me of legacy and leaving more behind than what you were previously given. And given that the full moon is in your 2nd house of money, it begins with you and transforming your relationship with money and how you relate to others, because this is like ultimately about the other. Don't allow people to dim your light and make you feel like you're not worthy of being wealthy or being worthy of taking a rest or being worthy of getting after your dreams. And we have the King of Cups here, which this really reminds me of your 7th house Pisces activation. And what I'm going to say might trigger some of you, but if you are not in a partnership that is supporting your dreams and helping you build this wealth, then they are not worthy of you. Okay? Oh, my nose is so itchy. Oh, this happens when I channel. And it gets, oh, okay. Notice how the dragon, and in mythology, dragons are like magical, mystical creatures. I think about the dragon in Shang-Chi, how it was like in the water waiting for Shang-Chi. And I think about the dragons in Game of Thrones and how she had 3 of them and how like mystical and scary they made everybody, but ultimately they were her power. And look how he is guarding this cup, right? You have to be the masculine and feminine everything for yourself to create this. So the masculine energy creates safety and security so that the feminine, which is represented by the cup, can receive and can be fertile and can birth these creative ideas. And you have Capricorn in your 5th house. Capricorn is traditionally a yin feminine sign. It's a sign about the elders and being wise. But in our distortion of the elder and distortion of Capricorn energy, which very much makes me feel like this 10 of coins here, it's become this like patriarchal, masculine, like work hard, play hard kind of energy. But what I'm feeling for you is guard your cup. Don't give all of your energy away. Don't give all of your like, don't be of service to everybody. Make sure that you are creating boundaries for yourself, that you're protecting yourself. And also, if you are building this long-term legacy, make sure you have the right partners around you who are protecting you, who are supporting you, who are feeding you this energy and not taking away from this energy. Because again, you have a stellium of planets in Pisces opposing you. That's a lot of energy opposing you, and you might get lost in the other. So make sure you're grounded into yourself. And look at the bottom of the deck is the Justice, which is all about balancing. Whew, okay, Virgo rising. I didn't think that was going to get so deep, but again, every rising sign is going through a deep transformational change that is setting us up for eclipse season. So happy full moon, and I send you so many blessings. Bye. Hi Libra rising. This full moon is happening in your 1st house, and it's squaring to Capricorn in your 4th house of your roots and family. So this is a tense aspect, I'm not gonna lie. They are in your angular houses, your 1st house of self, and then your 4th house of roots and family. So you have a little tense aspect between you, your perception of yourself, your identity, and how you see this world and how you move about this world. In a tense aspect with something that needs to be transformed in your foundational way of just being. This house, the 4th house, is all about our roots and feeling like we're moored into this earth. It talks about our parents, it talks about our home. What does home mean to you? Do you feel safe? Pluto has been transiting there for 14 to 15 years, so this has been a time when you've been transforming your story and your identity with your ancestors, your family, your roots. And it's has not been easy, and I send you all of my sympathies and compassion. But this full moon is asking you to release that which does not serve you in that story. You have to maybe redefine for yourself your relationship within your family. The you between the we, the you between you and your relationships to your family and your relationship to home and your identity. This is big because it's happening in your 4th house. So you want to look at the degree of your rising sign and see if it's near 3 degrees before, 3 degrees after 26 Libra. So you might be a late degree ascendant. Yeah, and obviously it's Aries season, so your 7th house of partnerships is like staring right back at you, and you know, you're getting all of this reflective energy back at you at like being independent and like So you might attract a lot of Aries suns or Aries moons or Aries placements with people that show you that ultimately, like, you can do it. That Aries energy is within you. You just need to bring it up to the surface, which I think this full moon will help you do. What is your advice for, and it's 2:22, as I just said that, 2:22 p.m. What is your advice for Libra rising? You are ruled by Venus, so do Venusian things to help you move through this time. Maybe go hiking as represented by Capricorn. I don't know if any of you like hiking, but that always helps me to clear my head. What do you want, Libra rising? Oh, the Magician. This is the fairy godmother. And I was just saying this to a client of mine. I love that they use the fairy godmother for the Magician, because if you know about Cinderella's story, you know that the fairy godmother is able to turn pumpkins into a fancy carriage, these mice into her coachman, and she was able to transform things in order for Cinderella to see that she actually is the princess, even though, like, she's not, you know, she's I guess a servant to her stepsisters, but she was always the princess all along. But she needed to believe it in herself. And if I'm being honest, like, you don't even need a prince or princess. And if we're going beyond the binary, any person at all to make you feel complete and make you feel you are worthy of them. And maybe this is the ultimate full moon square Pluto lesson for you Libra risings, is that ultimately you are your own co-creator of your own reality. You are the magician. You can manifest anything. And you don't need somebody to save you. You are your own safe haven. You are your own safe home. Even if you don't have a physical home, even if you're not close to your family, even if you don't understand your ancestry, because not everybody does, you have everything within yourself to figure it out. And I know that sounds super grandiose and super like, I get it in my head, but I don't feel it in my body. I think that is the lesson for this full moon in Libra, is to feel it in your body. It's happening in your first house. I feel like I don't even need to pull any more cards, because I just want that message to come through just as it is, because I feel like that is, I think, what you needed to hear at this time. Libra rising, this is your full moon, and I feel like you were the shortest message, but I send you so much love. Take care of yourself, send yourself healing, and I will see you at the next lunation. Bye. Hi, Scorpio rising. The Libra full moon is in your 12th house. The 12th house is a hidden house. It's hidden because our ascendant can't see what is in the 12th house. It is a very mystical house, and you have the South Node transiting your first house. So it's just a mystical time for you in general. Let's see here. Your Capricorn house is the 3rd. So you are having a moon square Pluto between your 12th and your 3rd house. Now, how could this be impacting you? Well, you've had Pluto in your 3rd house for around 14, 15 years. And if you're in the younger side, like let's say you're in your 20s, most of your life. So this could be a tense aspect in between something that's been hidden, something that you can't see, something that wants to be released, something that wants to be seen, and my right ear is ringing right now. And the house of the 3rd house which is about your siblings, your community, your neighborhood, social media, media, your day-to-day, the people you see on a day-to-day basis. I'm trying to think of other things. So if you're not close with your siblings, even if you are close, you might be having some kind of friction with them. Something in your day-to-day, because the third house is pretty busy, might be impacting your sleep. You know, a full moon in the 12th house is like not being able to sleep or having really, really crazy dreams. But that's par for the course, because the South Node really helps us to become more spiritual, really in touch with our higher self. So I think this is like a really big, obviously, with the eclipse happening in your 7th house of the other. And then in May, I think it's May 15th, where you're having a lunar eclipse in your 1st house of self. Something wants to be released. Something hidden wants to come to the surface so that you can take a look at it with a different perspective, a different lens. And Scorpio is that intense energy anyway, of letting go, of seeing the roots of things. But this has everything to do with self, you. This has everything to do with your own embodiment in this world. And this full moon will help you uncover that. Maybe it's the first time that you've realized something, that you've had this kind of realization. So the first card came out, the 10 of Wands, exactly. You want to let go of some kind of burden. You want to be free of something. Something that's been burdening you, something that's been weighing you down. The 10 is always a transformation card. You're at the end of this journey, and that's how I kind of feel for you. Something is wanting to be released to give you more freedom to be, more freedom to express, more freedom to exist in this world. Anything else? And Scorpio energy in general is, for me, a lot about alchemy and transmutation of energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That is Newton's first law of thermodynamics. So you're taking something, this journey of the wands, you've taken something, released it, and notice how this tree is growing in the skull. And Scorpio rules the death card in tarot. Something is being rebirthed. But before it becomes rebirthed, you must allow something to die, metaphorically, of course. And this full moon in Libra in the 12th is really helping you to do that. It's like the first step towards this journey. I think a lot of Scorpio risings are going to figure out what is your purpose in life. Why are you here? And if you haven't figured that out yet, or if you have figured that out already, then it's just going to deepen your purpose and your embodiment here on Earth. The right people are going to be attracted to you, the right opportunities with Taurus North Node in your 7th house. Oh, you have another 10 of Swords, exactly. Allowing yourself to release the fears and the self-limiting beliefs, all the things that you don't need. This is like 2 10s. This is huge. This is allowing yourself to go through this releasing process, allowing yourself to let go of whatever has been burdening you, whatever has been weighing you down. I feel a lot of like weight on your shoulders. And this is the one to do it. Again, you might be getting some dreams. This is the Nine of Swords. Keep a dream journal. What's your advice for Scorpio rising? You must allow yourself to release the eclipses will shine a light onto the roots, the dead roots that are holding you down, that are tying you down. Very similar to this Ten of Wands. Don't be afraid of it. And you won't be because you're a Scorpio rising. Seeing what's hidden beneath the surface. I think a lot of Scorpio risings are going to not only know what your purpose is, but you're also going to be very tapped in. Oh, what is your advice for Scorpio risings? What is your advice? I mean, the advice was to let go, right? It's allow the transformation to happen. Surrender, surrender, surrender. It's happening already. Yeah, Six of Swords. Allow yourself to move from one state of being to another. So I was telling the story of this card to another group. I don't remember who it was, but I love this deck because it comes with mythology, and this is the mythology of Danae. I think that's her name. This is Greek mythology, and her son Perseus, and they are escaping her father. So what this means is they are traveling in a boat across water. Water is emotional. Scorpio is a fixed water sign, but this card is symbolized by Mercury in Aquarius, which means you're looking at the future, you're moving towards the future, you're leaving the past behind. You're going from one state to the next. But Danae is Perseus's mother, so that also might be relevant to your case. I don't know if it's like a mother-son dynamic, a mother-child dynamic, or a parent-child dynamic. But this is somebody that's helping you move across this river. You're not doing this on your own. And that's what Libra is. Libra is the sign of the other. It's a sign of relationships. And knowing that you don't have to do this alone, I think that's going to be key. And at the bottom of the deck is the Empress. This is Venus. This moon is ruled by Venus. And your other house that is ruled by Venus is the 7th house of Taurus. You're not alone, and I think you're going to get a lot of help during this time. I mean, the North Node is increasing, so you're going to get help. You're going to have people guiding you along the way to help you see more of who you are. Now, in my experience with the South Node in my first house, there were people that were negative and there were people that were positive. Both polarities of people, the people who were there to make my life difficult and the people who are there to support me, they were both reflecting mirrors back into me of who I really am, and also being able to stand up for myself and to know my worth. So, I mean, I'm so glad that I pulled extra cards for you because this is ending on a beautiful note. Not that this is bad. This is necessary. You need to complete this. You need to complete this journey in order for you to make room for what's to come. As I said, keep a dream journal because your dreams are going to give you insights into what your subconscious, what the divine, what the universe is trying to tell you. So happy full moon, Scorpio rising. Bye. Hello, fellow Sagittarius risings. Happy full moon in Libra. Now, out of all the signs, I do have to say that I think Sag risings are going to have the easiest time, if that's even possible. And I went through, now I've been going through, I think, 8 signs, and so you're the 9th. And so each each sign is going through huge life transitions. And not that we're not, but I think we will have the easiest time. And why do I say that? Because the Libra Aries axes, the 5th and 11th house, is one of the best axes in a natal chart, because the Libra house, which is our 11th house, is sextile to our ascendant, and the 5th house in Aries is trine to our ascendant. So these are very favorable aspects. Now, the Libra house for us is the 11th house of friendships, of long-term wishes and goals, and investments, and also community. So it is a house of friendships and the other, as also indicated by Libra. This is square to our 2nd house of Capricorn in our house of money. So a square is a tense aspect. So how this could maybe come about is a friend asks you to borrow money and you don't have that money, or they don't pay you back, or some kind of struggle with money and friendships, or you know, maybe some kind of weird dependent relationship with a friend in regards to money, or a power dynamic there. Now, Pluto has been transiting our 2nd house for 14 to 15 years. So this is something that I think by now you have reconciled within yourself, because Pluto is in its last degrees of Capricorn. So it's at the end of its journey in this house. So I met another Sagittarius rising just recently, somebody that I interviewed for my podcast, and we were just talking about Pluto in the 2nd house and how, you know, it's a long transit. Like I said, it's like 15 years now that it's been there, and at different points of the transit, it's like, what is money? Where is money? And then sometimes you get a lot of money, sometimes you don't have enough money, sometimes it's like, you know, and you think about, like, you really have this intimate relationship with money. And one book that I would recommend, I should have recommended this to the other groups, but especially with the North Node in Taurus, and South Node in Scorpio, which is all also about money. I've been recommending this book, The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. And it's great because it really helped me to think about money in a different way. And also, you know, with Pluto being in the 2nd house, it's like, what the fuck is money? Anyway, I think we're going to feel really supported too with all of this Piscean energy in our 4th house. The 4th house being the roots, being our foundation. So personally, I personally see really good things, and I think this is just a catalyst for eclipse season. I think with this next eclipse in Taurus, which is having a sextile to Venus and Jupiter in our 4th house, I think new work projects, new opportunities are going to be coming our ways for a lot of Sag rising. So anyway, just be excited about that, because I feel like for a lot of us, it's been a kind of rocky road. And I think now we're finally integrating the South Node and Sag lessons, and we have a more spiritual understanding. And I just saw the Six of Swords and the Sun and the Ace of Swords. I think I'm going to take that, and the 4 of Wands. Now I saw the 6 of Swords, but I can't find that card now. So let's just start with this. Actually, a lot of cards came out for Sag risings, and it's exactly the energy that I've been feeling. So the Sun. I love seeing the Sun because the Sun is a childlike energy. It's all about vitality. It's all about shining. It's ruled by Leo. So it's all about creativity and playful magic. Sorry, my mom just interrupted me, which is like, it always throws me off because I'm like channeling. I also really like the numerology of 19. So 1 is new beginnings, initiation, and 9 is the ending of a cycle. And together they make 10, which is a completion. So the sun is us like shining brightly, getting the vitality, getting the energy to really have that yang energy to get after what it is that we desire. And also we have Aries in the 5th house. And like I said, Aries is in a trine relationship to our ascendant, and Jupiter is moving into Aries in, I think, May 10th. I have it circled down because my sun is in my 5th house, and I'm like, I cannot wait for this energy. Then we have the Ace of Swords, clarity, understanding, right perception, right mind, right thinking, an opportunity to communicate what it is that you want to communicate, right? Because I also see, so we have Saturn in our 3rd house, and then it's, you know, talking to these Libra houses. If you ever wanted to communicate something, if you ever wanted to share something, I think this Libra full moon is the perfect time to. And then we have the 4 of Wands, which is Venus and Aries. Venus and Aries, this is like celebration. Is it a forever energy? No. It's maybe a one-day celebration. It's celebrating how far you've come. This is also a card that speaks about weddings, celebrations, ceremonies. So if anybody wants to celebrate something, even surviving the South Node in the transiting the 1st house, or even just the full moon, being alive here today, this is a perfect time to celebrate. As I was saying, even though this is a square relationship from the 11th to the 2nd, and, you know, just be very careful about your money, like conserve your money, start saving. I really feel like for a lot of Sag risings, depending on your personal planets and your natal chart, oh, it was 222 when I said that. There's so many opportunities and so many energies that are opening up for us based on the aspects and the house positions, that I really feel like if you feel right now that you're sleepy and you're a little sluggish, because, you know, Pisces energy is a little sleepy and it's all in our 4th house, just be patient. I think the universe and spirit are asking you to take time to rest so that you have a lot of energy for this 6th house activation, with the solar eclipse in your 6th house, the North Node being there, new work projects, maybe daily habits that will help support you in your new work. The bottom of the deck is the Ace of Wands. Now there's 2 aces here. So they're opportunities from spirit to really take action, to really start something new, start on your vision, start on your ideas. So overall, like I said, it's, out of all the signs, I felt Sagittarius risings to be the most positive, and I can't say that I felt that energy in a really long time, but I feel like things are turning around for us. So I hope that this full moon gives you blessings and you get to spend time with your friends. So let me know in the comment section if this resonated with you. Bye. Hi Capricorn rising. This full moon in Libra is happening at the top of your chart in the 10th house. The 10th house is our most public house. It's about our career, our legacy, and what we are known for. Now, Aries, it's still Aries season, the sun is in Aries, is in your 4th house of roots and family and ancestry and home. And let's see here. Your Libra house is squaring your 1st house with Pluto transiting there. Now, Pluto has been transiting your 1st house for about 14 to 15 years. And so you've been really dealing with the brunt of Pluto, obviously, and all the Capricorn stuff that was happening since 2017. And I feel like I say that in every episode or every reading, that I'm like, damn, Capricorn. But if there's any sign that can stand this test of time and has this kind of fortitude to keep going, it's you, because you're ruled by Saturn. And what I've known about Saturn is to honor Saturn and also to pay respects to Saturn, because Saturn wants us to commit to something for the long haul, but at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. So you have a tense aspect between your sense of self and your career. And those two houses are angular houses. Again, the angular houses are your 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. And so they really do embody like our lives. So something about your career wants to come forward, wants to come into fruition, wants to be expressed, right? But it's in a tense aspect with Pluto in your 1st. So something needs to be transformed within self and rebirthed and let go of in order for you to fully express how you want to express in your career. And this is very, very dependent on obviously you, because this is your 1st house. Libra also deals with the other. So are you allowing people to help you? What is your role in your relationships with others? Are people helping you with your career or not helping you? Are people giving you energy or not giving you energy? These are all questions I think you need to think about when you're dealing with such impactful houses in your chart. But let's ask for advice. What advice do you have for Capricorn rising? A lot of Capricorn risings have been trying to figure out like, who am I and what is my career? What am I known for? Death, exactly. You are transforming something. You have to honor the natural cycles of life. You have to honor what's being composted and reformed into something new. And that's going to mean something differently to every Capricorn rising based on your ascendant degree, based on planets you have in Libra and Aries and also Capricorn. So death is the number 13 card in the major arcana journey. We start with 0 at the Fool and 21 with the World. And I always wondered, why is death in the middle? Because in the middle of our journey is when we have to transform into something new. We can't just keep showing up the same way if we want something different. You know the saying, nothing changes if nothing changes. And so I'm not saying that you haven't been doing anything to change, because you are a cardinal earth sign. But at the same time, you have to think a little bit differently. Think a little bit differently outside the box. And look at what card came up, the Fool. And whenever I see this card, I think of The Little Mermaid, where she sings, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know something's starting right now. Well, shan't you see, someday I'll be part of your world. So this is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is transiting through your 5th house of creativity. The North Node is there. This is the time to fully embody your creativity and to have this like lust for life, this passion for life. And that actually might be the area of your life that can support your 10th house, because Venus rules both your 5th and your 10th. So doing Venusian things, which is like pretty much the opposite of Capricorn. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is like, we need to get serious, we need to have a plan, we need to go for the long term. And Venus is like, I'm in it for the pleasure, I'm in it for the beauty. But that could be the actual thing that helps you to alchemize the past and alchemize what you've been through and alchemize what you've already experienced to help you form something new and go on a brand new journey. And sorry about my singing if it was off key or off tune, but I felt like those words were important. She sings, I don't know where, I don't know when, I don't know how, but something's starting right now. Okay, so something is starting right now for you, Capricorn rising, if you choose to see it that way. So I hope you have a beautiful full moon. Bye! Aquarius risings. Libra is in your 9th house. of foreign travel, philosophy, spirituality, learning, teaching, mastership of some kind. It is known in Hellenistic astrology as the house of the god, where the sun is exalted. So it's a very spiritual house. Now, you got a lot going on. But when haven't you, right? Saturn is crossing over in your first house, I think until 2023 or 2024. Saturn transits a house every 2 years. You have nice support in your second house of Pisces. Let's see. Aries is your third house of learning, your community. And Taurus is your fourth house. Yeah, so you're another fixed rising sign who's getting squares to these eclipses. So what does this all mean? So Capricorn and Pluto are in your 12th. This quest for spirituality, this quest for knowing the mystic truths of life is squaring to your 9th house of Libra. So Aquarius risings, are you interested in learning about spirituality? Are you interested in traveling abroad, maybe moving, maybe going somewhere that's a little bit more conducive to what the next part of your journey is? Saturn in your first house is like, we're getting serious about something. Something needs to be put into like long-term foundations. And you know, with the North Node in your fourth house, it's like some of you might be wanting to move. Some of you might be wanting to relocate. So any of those topics can be prevalent, but definitely letting go of something that maybe has been a dogmatic way of thinking. Just because full moons are about releasing and also seeing something very clearly, seeing something that was very hidden, that was holding you back. And maybe this new chapter of your life is learning something that you've always wanted to learn. So let's ask about Aquarius rising and what is your advice? 9 of Cups. This came out for 2 other groups. The 9 of Cups is a wish card. It's like you wish in your dreams, because this is Pisces. And whenever I see this card, what comes up in my mind is what you seek is seeking you. What you want wants you to. What is meant for you will never be withheld for you. Wow, what is it that you want, Aquarius rising? Like I said, like something is being solidified within yourself of taking something very seriously. Something is like, I almost get this feeling of like adulting, like you've had to adult, which I don't know if Aquarius risings resonate with that. So in traditional astrology, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, and in modern astrology, it's ruled by Uranus. And Uranus was discovered by a telescope. I think I did this in one of my Instagram posts in the late 1800s by a scientist named Herschel, last name Herschel. And it was the first like time that a planet was discovered by telescope, and when they looked at it, they were like, holy fuck, there's more out there than just Saturn. And that's why Saturn is also represents like boundaries, because they thought that it ended at Saturn. And so Capricorn and Aquarius speaks to people who live in the fringes, within the boundaries. And Aquarius to me really is the people who live at the fringes, the marginalized groups, the people who aren't necessarily represented by society. And so that's why I love Aquarian energy, because the weirdness, the eccentricism, the thinking outside the box is what makes Aquarius energy so special. I have my moon and Venus in Aquarius, and I've always been like, why am I so weird? Why do I think so differently from other people? But with Saturn, its traditional ruler being there, has been kind of like a sobering moment for a lot of Aquarian placements. Like, oh shit, like we have to get serious. We have to like not be so out there, but like ground it now into the physical reality. But whatever this wish is, the message and the advice is to keep wishing because it wants you to. That's the main point that I wanted to make. What else? What else? The readings for each rising sign have been so amazing. I really feel this collective like healing and hope and inspirational energy from Pisces. Okay, then we have the Knight of Coins. This is exactly the energy I was feeling with that Saturn. This is going to take time. This is going to happen with intentional, slow movement and strides. So you're probably like, what the fuck does this have anything to do with the full moon in Libra? It's because it's being square to Pluto and Capricorn is a very intentional energy. You are co-ruled by Saturn. So you want to look at where Saturn is in your chart and see what it's doing, your natal Saturn, because this will give you clues on how to honor Saturn and how to remedy Saturn in order for you to trust in this journey. The Knight of Coins takes the longest time, but you know that it's because they are building for the long term. Aquarians are visionaries. They see something, a different timeline, a different world. They're very similar to Pisces in that way, where people are like, what are you even talking about? But with deliberate action and deliberate intentional steps, you will get this dream. You will get this Jeff Bezos, which I don't like to talk about him very often, he's going through his second Saturn return in Aquarius. And when he first started Amazon, he was going through his first Saturn return. And when he first did it, people were like, what is he, crazy? Like, why would this work? And now look, his second Saturn return in Aquarius, he's the richest man in the world, and he went off into space. So you just never know what can transpire from your ideas. Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a beautiful full moon. Last but certainly not least, Pisces rising, Libra in your 8th house. The 8th house is taxes, and I'm filming this on April 15th, which is tax day here in America, in the United States. It's all about intimacy, other people's resources, death, and, you know, I'm learning Hellenistic astrology, and the reason why this house has that kind of rap is because you can't see it from the ascendant. So it's not a bad house, but with your house being in Libra, you are prepared to go through some kind of death and rebirth phase. You are prepared to let go of something in order for something else to come into fruition. And this also might have something to do with relationships because it is in Libra. Now, your first house is packed. You're having this like Piscean renaissance within yourself. You have Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Neptune. So you have an exalted Venus. You have Jupiter in its domicile, Neptune in its domicile, and now you have Mars charging through there. And I don't know, Pisces risings, let me know in the comments like how you've been experiencing this energy, because I'm sure a lot of you are off into the dream realm creating something fabulous. But your Capricorn house is the 11th. So your 8th house is square to your 12th house. Your 11th house. So your relationships with your friends group might be a little bit tense at this time, maybe a little bit conflicting. Maybe you're reorganizing or going through a death period or rebirth period in the kinds of friendships or kind of societies or communities that you associate with. And this might have to do with this like renewed sense of your own identity with this Pisces stellium. So let's ask, what is the advice for Pisces rising at this time? I say focus on yourself, do your own thing, go off into the dream realm, and create some magic. I feel like there's gonna be so many Pisces babies born now for the next 2 weeks in April are gonna have this Pisces stellium, and they're gonna be like, I don't know, I'm excited to see what kind of babies these are. They could be either like artists, musicians, psychic, empathic, telepathic, mermaids. Wow, they're gonna be, yeah, they're gonna be very special children. I wonder what they would be called. Okay, 4 of Coins, holding on, taking control, exactly, creating boundaries, creating safety for self within your relationships and your friends group. Maybe some Pisces rising had some recent like revelations about the kind of people you were surrounding yourself with, or the kind of relationships you're in, and you're now in kind of like protection mode, which isn't a bad thing, you know? We all go through those phases. We all need to go through those phases. The 4 of Coins, well, the 4 is gathering resources. And so at the 4 of Coins point, this is a Capricorn card, we have enough, but we don't want to hoard. We don't want to control. So, you know, Libra in the 8th full moon might be releasing control and surrendering. I mean, it is in the 2nd, 8th house axes, which talks about money, other people's resources. And like I was saying, it is tax season. So maybe you're going through a transformation of what you even believe money to be, and an energetic exchange, power exchanges. I don't know, those are some keywords that just came to my mind. Okay, and the 8 of Coins, exactly. So it's interesting you have a 4 and an 8 here. A 4 is about, like I said, foundation, gathering resources, and 8 is the number of power. Pisces risings, I think you're getting very serious about your resources and what you have. The full moon in Libra in your 8th house is really getting you to examine your relationship to money, how it relates to other people, and yourself. I recommended this to the Sagittarius rising group, but read this book, The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. It's a great book to read with the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio, but it talks about money in a different way, and I think it would be really helpful for you. So anyway, happy full moon, and if you've all made it this far throughout the 12 signs, happy full moon and many full moon blessings. Bye!